Today I co-led with Adrian Trotman and his team a drought tournament. Basically, I called them a competitive simulation exercise to improve people's awareness of drought risk and also their ability to reduce the impact of droughts across 3 different types of island conditions.
Drought exercise was an awesome exercise. I didn't know what to expect when I heard there's going to be a drought tournament. Like what? But after, they put it together quite well.
Drought exercise, the drought tournament, each group was given actually the same exercise to do. 3 islands going through a drought situation. They only given $15 million for all the islands in order to come up with measures, plans on how to mitigate the drought.
Policy isn't often a graceful, simple process. It's often done under pressure with limited data and time and budget. So they were under pressures with this tournament that obviously were compressed but had some realism of the issues policymakers have to grapple with.
Yeah, it gave us a glimpse into how the policymakers think about certain things. And when you're given a lump sum of money, you know, sometimes there's some very tough decisions to make. And yeah, it was an exciting and an educational exercise.
I had started out in my climate decision support work working with tabletop exercises, but what we found was when you had too many people in the room, a tabletop exercise was relatively challenging to draw out information from a wide range of people. What we decided to do was to play on human psychology and put a sports motif into the concept. We put people on teams, gave them the same information, same constraints like budget, physical issues, etc. And then saw how those teams would compete against others in terms of coming up with solutions, innovations, etc. It seems to have gone very well. Our first tournament was done in 2011 in Calgary, Canada. Since then it's been done in Nepal, the United States, Czech Republic, a range of countries. And consistently what happens is people are surprised at the systems issues they hadn't considered previously and the complexity of finding solutions that work across a range of disciplines.
Basically, what I learned is the finance part of it, which I've never been involved in. I just gave the outlook. I'm not sure what people, well, I shouldn't say I'm not sure, but I don't know behind the scenes. But here, I have to now use the money, a specific amount of money, and how I'm going to use it and allocate it to the different sectors. It makes you realize that it's not just the water sector is going to be affected and the agriculture sector. You have to think about all the different sectors in terms of health in allocating money to this.
There was a mix of disciplines, disaster, people from the water sector, etc. So it showed how basically bits of information from each sector becomes very important when dealing with an issue such as drought.
Well, it was the largest set of participants that I've ever had in a tournament. It was probably, from a geospatial perspective, one of the most complex because the tournament was having to encompass 3 different types of islands. And you had a very sophisticated group of people playing the tournament, so there was a lot of some of the most creative innovations I've ever seen.
Being at a round table with persons from North, South and Central in the Caribbean, I heard many different moments where people said, oh, this is a great idea, taking from somebody else's experience. So I think that round table with the various countries that were represented gave a whole picture of what can happen and what best way. Because at the end of the day, I noticed that we all suffer from the same problems. And it's always very invigorating when somebody can give you a solution to something that you've been grappling with for a long time. So for me personally in Antigua, it is a most useful and timely exercise.
I think the exercise helped to alert many of the participants who normally haven't had that exposure in terms of making decisions about dealing with droughts, floods, etc. I think it's good, it has potential, and we would certainly like to see how we can use it more in the region, to sort of bring people into the discussion about how we deal with some of these issues.
I'm extremely grateful that Adrian Trotman felt that there was enough value in the tournament that he was willing to invite me to participate.